Hi, today we're going to be talking a little bit more about linear relations and functions. We talked about relations and functions earlier, but now we're going to specifically talk about the linear ones, linear relations and functions. We're also going to talk about what's called standard form. So what is linear? Linear is a straight line with no curves or changes in directions. An example here would be this kind of a line. It can also be an uphill line and a horizontal or a vertical line. Any of those are fine. Some things that are not linear, notice this V-shaped graph, that would not be linear, nor would anything with curves over here. So how do we tell if something's linear? Well, it can only have x and y. There should be no other variables like a z or anything of that nature. There are no exponents or square roots, and there's no multiplying of the variables together. Something just to remember f of x or g of x or t of x, whatever they want, is just another form of y. So that it has this, that's just stating that it is a function, and instead of just saying y, it's saying it's specifically a function, and we can go ahead and replace f of x with y anytime we want to. So let's take a look at this first one. So see here that g of x, that's really taking the place of y. So it's y equals 2x minus 5. Is this a linear function? Well, let's go through our list of things. It just has x and y, which is good. Our second thing is there's no exponents. There isn't. And there's no multiplication of variables. The y is over here, the x is over here. Yes, we have 2x, that's fine. We can multiply by a number, but we just can't have x times y. So this is all good. So is this? Absolutely. Yes, it is. And they talk about slope-intercept form. We will talk about that later on in the week, so we're going to get to that later. So state whether this is, again, y and x. We have just y and x's. That's great. But notice we have exponents here. We can't have that. It's not a linear function because it has an exponent other than 1. Let's try another one. Again, this just becomes y. So there's a y and an x. Yep. No exponents, and they're not multiplied by each other. This one looks good. This one's fine too. It's a yes. We have a yes right there. And this one, x squared, we can't have it. The x has a different exponent other than 1. And notice this is the one type that I was talking about, x times y. We can't have that. That's the no here, the C value. All right, let's talk about standard form. Standard form for a linear equation is ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are just numbers like 2, so like 2x plus 3y equals 7. We have an example down here of 3x plus 5y equals 12. Now there's some definitions that we have to have. A has to be greater than 0, in other words, it has to be positive. And both a and b can't be 0, so we have to have x's and y's. So x and y are on the same side. X cannot be negative. And there can be no fractions. If x is negative, we would just multiply by -1 to make it positive. If there are fractions, we have to multiply by the common denominator to get rid of the fractions. So let's go ahead and take a couple equations, and we're going to put them into standard form. That's the second part of this lesson. So y equals 3x minus 9. This is a linear, but we want to go ahead and put it in standard form. And you notice the x and the y are not on the same side. So we're going to take this 3x and we have to move it over to the other side. So here's the original problem, but now we move the 3x over. And this would be good. There's no fractions. X and y are on the same side, but the issue is this x is negative. So remember, the way to get rid of that is either multiply by -1 or divide by -1. They do the same thing. To get rid of this. So let's do that. So we multiply by -1, that becomes positive 3x, this becomes negative y, and positive 9. That way it's in standard form. Now what's my a value? My a value is in front of the x, so 3. What's my b value? -1, and my c value is 9. Let's try another one. Here again, we're going to have to move that 2x over, so y equals -2x plus 5. Add 2x to the opposite of that, so plus 2x plus 2x. Flip it around, 2x plus y equals 5. No fractions, x and y together. X is positive. We're good. That's just our answer. Let's try another one. Now, x is over here and y is by itself over here. We could move the x over, but then we would have to move the 2 over, so that's just a lot of extra work. So I'm just going to move the y over. So I add y to both sides, 10x plus y. Of course, I want that in the front, so I'm going to move it over. The 2 is going to come to the back, and 10x plus y equals 2. Now, if you had moved the x over, you're still going to have to multiply by -1, but you should still get the same exact answer. And that's what I have for you today.